Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your Dragon Bone Smashers and get ready, because today we're gonna delve right into the core of the 10 things I hate most about Demon Souls. If you'd like a more romanticized look at the game, be sure to give the 10 things I love video a watch. Just as with that video, these 10 things are in no particular order. With that said, let's kick things off with number 1. In the previous video, I talked in detail about how much I love the pressure that World Tendency exerts over the player. You know what I don't love? How mind-numbingly obtuse the system can appear to a new player, and that's if they even notice it exists at all. Okay, maybe I'm taking it a bit too far, but let's be real, the game does very little to no explaining of the World Tendency mechanic. And as previously detailed, it matters a lot in terms of the difficulty of the game, so it's really important from my view that a player new to the game, the player most likely to experience a heavy challenge in Demon Souls, understands the World Tendency mechanic deeply. But they likely won't. They'll likely die in human form, and this will likely make the game harder and harder for the inexperienced. This could be enough to make them drop a fantastic game out of a misunderstood frustration. Then there's the inconvenience to veterans. Even if you do fully understand the World Tendency mechanic, getting the game to pure black and pure white in the same playthrough can be a real pain. Why would you want to bother with pure black? Well, there's certain things that can only happen in pure black or white tendency, known as tendency events. For example, in pure black World Tendency, the gate that was always shut in the very beginning of 1-1 suddenly becomes open to you, as do the rewards locked behind it. But you have to be incredibly careful if you want to experience all the events in a single run, because one slip up might mean you've lost the ability to take a given world to pure white in a given playthrough. Pure black gets a pass because all you have to do is kill yourself in human form over and over again in a world, but even then the Stones of Ephemeral Eyes, the item that lets you return to human form at will, are decently rare. I could go into more detail such as the specifics of what shifts tendency, how online affects it, etc, but that's not the topic at hand. Rather how I feel about the mechanic and what I don't like about it. Let me be clear in saying I actually do like the World Tendency mechanic. The problem is that with how complex and important it is to your success in Demon Souls, it should have either been simplified and or explained to the player more effectively. Speaking of things new players should have explained to them, let's talk about forgiveness in Demon Souls. I've never felt that it was completely fair to the player that once you've attacked an NPC, you're fucked. Nope, no apologies, no forgiveness, just a spurn hatred that either results in them making your life in the Nexus a living hell or you putting them down. Let's look at this from the perspective of a new player. You see the crestfallen knight. This dude's laughing at you, saying you may as well give up, yada yada blah blah, I'm a quitter. Well, quitters don't need that dank gear, so hand it over and I'll go slay the demons for you coward. Oh shit, whoops, shouldn't have done that. Well, sorry, all I actually have is footage of me kicking this guy's pathetic ass. But this is in the late game. If you attack him early in the game, you're likely gonna suffer greatly. And I can't easily see the argument that the game is intuitively warning you not to attack a well-geared NPC without risking the consequences. That's totally fair. What's not fair is that if you make the error of attacking an NPC, there's no remorse. Either start a new game, kill them, or get wrecked, mate. To some extent, I'd say I don't have a problem with this if the player attacked them on purpose, but if you did it on accident, it really blows. This was fixed in the later games in the series with the whole sin system, but in Demon Souls, it's sink or swim. You know what didn't get fixed in later games? I'm talking about something that was so beloved by players that FromSoft gladly included it in every single Souls title from here on out. Oh wait, no, we all despised it. The poison trope finds its roots in some of the most hated areas in all of Demon Souls, the Valley of Defilement. I've rightfully defiled this area's design verbally in my Demon Souls area ranking video, but if you've played any Souls games, you know the deal. It's an area with a massive poison lake and a bunch of enemies to fuck you in it. Valley of Defilement sucks, Blight Town sucks, Earthern Peak / the Gutter / Black Gulch / way too many of these fucking areas sucks, Nightmare Frontier sucks, and Fair and Woods sucks. Maybe you're sitting there and saying, you know what, DMod? You suck. Get good, son. If disliking the poison trope in Souls means I suck, then the vast majority is invited to suck right along with me. That's not what I meant. Let's switch gears to something I'm pretty sure everybody will agree on. Carry weight is balls. No, I don't mean equip weight, that's fine. You gotta have properly balanced character building, of course. No, carry weight is a mechanic that limits how much you can effectively carry before you become over-encumbered. What is this, Skyrim? You know, from an immersion perspective, I totally get it. This guy can fit 15 Dragon Bone Smashers in what must be his butthole because I don't see where else he's putting it, but shoving just one more up there is asking for too much. In all seriousness, I've always been an advocate for convenience factors in a game, but it is a fine line to stride. For example, I like that Demon Souls only has Archstones as true checkpoints in the level. That's it, you go all the way from the Archstone to boss or die trying and start all over. Sure, it'd be convenient if you just respawn 10 feet back from where you died with full health, but that's not a rewarding challenge to overcome and would quickly make this game boring. Instead, there are shortcuts in nearly every level that rewards full exploration, giving convenience to a prudent player. It's fair and balanced, a good example of offering a perfect blend of convenience and sensible game design. Now obviously your character couldn't realistically carry every item that's in his and her inventory. You accept that that as a player and understand that even though it's not possible, it's fiction, and you suspend your disbelief so it doesn't disrupt your immersion. You know what does disrupt immersion? Exploring through a level only to find out, oh shit, I'm over encumbered and need to either lose some dead weight or head back to the Nexus. For collectors and perfectionists, this mechanic is a nightmare. Stones, stones, stones. You get a stone, you get a stone, and you get a stone. Seriously, you're all gonna get a lot of stones. Hard stone, sharp stone, blade stone, clear stone, gray stone, dragon stone, sucker stone, mercury stone, marrow stone, moonlight stone, dark moon stone, faint stone, sucker stone, cloud stone, and melt stone. Is that enough goddamn stones? Jeez. If world tendency wasn't enough to make your head spin, good luck figuring all this shit out. For a Souls veteran, you can probably decipher some of the madness. The basic stones upgrade weapons to a certain level. At a certain point during the upgrade process, you can use one of the bajillion aforementioned rocks to make a special style weapon that takes advantage of a stat or adds special damage. This is yet another mechanic that is too poorly explained for the game's first iteration. Even if you're willing to excuse that part of it, there's still the fact that farming all of these can be an absolute bitch. In fact, some of the pure versions of each of the type of stones, which are akin to a Titanite slab in that class, are so rare that you can only get them from a few select crystal lizards. I guess we'll lump that horse shit in here. No one likes a crystal lizard that runs away and mocks you as it disappears. No worries, just reload and it's back, right? Wrong. Demon Souls don't give a damn about your upgrades. You miss the lizard and it's gone until New Game Plus. Granted, it will reappear once for each time you kill a boss, but that means for some stones you only have a tiny handful of opportunities to get it. And even then you have to effectively kill it. And even then you have to hope you get lucky and get it to drop. While this may be a headache, nothing compares to the holy grail of stone farming. That's right, this pure stone is so freaking rare that it gets a category all its own. You know, I actually don't hate the idea of adding rare items to the game. Having an exclusive class of weapon is pretty cool and shows off, hey, I completed this hard challenge to get this. Oh wait, you don't complete a hard challenge. No, not at all. Instead, you just kill this black katana skeleton in 4-2 again, and 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 again. You might think I'm exaggerating, but I've heard horror stories of over 1,000 attempts at getting the damn stone to drop with no luck whatsoever. That is insane. Putting aside the ludicrous drop rate, that's not even my real problem. Going back to my earlier point, I love the idea of an exclusive item in these games, but rather than being tied to tedious farming that is laughably easy, this stone and other rare items should be tied to immense challenges. Imagine if instead of farming, you had some sort of extra challenging task you had to complete and receive the stone as a reward. What if, for example, you had to resurrect a version of the old hero with eyes intact and take him on at his full power to get the stone? That's only a single idea. There are loads more interesting ways they could have done this, and any number of them would have been a million times less tedious and more rewarding. The worst part of it all is that the Bladestone is what you need to max out sharp infusions, and we all know Dex is the king stat in the Souls series. If you decide you want to give up on the asinine quest of farming for the pure Bladestone, there's always the option of getting a dupe copy from another player. To do this, you'll have to delve into the wonderful world of Demon Souls matchmaking. First of all, you gotta be in the same region because the North American, European, and Asian versions of the game all run on different servers. Once you get that sorted, then there's the bigger hurdle to tackle: soul level restrictions. You know what I want to do when I kick back, relax, and slay some demons with a friend? Do some math! Okay, actually, I could go in a big rant about math, but I like math, alright? Math is fun. Yeah, I hear you, boo! Math stinks, you stink. What really stinks is having to look at an outside source to figure out matchmaking tiers. The math itself genuinely isn't the problem, it's just that this stuff isn't explained to you in the game. I shouldn't have to use an outside source to figure out what levels can match with what. It should intrinsically tell you in the game. It's a reoccurring problem on our list. The game frankly does a poor job of explaining so many different things to the player. It's one of the biggest hurdles in Demon Souls, more so even than its difficulty. There are few things in the Souls franchise that I fear more than the skeletons of Shrine of Storms. I'm serious, they're one of the most difficult things in the entire series for me, and certainly one of the hardest parts of Demon Souls. Why are they so hard? Just look at them go! Stamina, what's that? Speed comparable to the player? Nonsense, swiggity swooty, I'm gonna ram my sword up your booty. They are fast, they deal loads of damage, and are littered all over the entryway to 4-1. They're so difficult for me that I actively go out of my way to enter 5-1, my least favorite level in the game, solely so that I can get the Blessed Mace to trivialize them. This is a hate that may be unrelatable to you. When using a shield, killing the skeletons with blocking and strafing is actually much more manageable. But I never use that. Nah, shields are for casuals, brah. Just kidding. You do you. I can't even blame you if you want to use a shield. The game practically encourages it, especially considering what's next. Let's come out and say it. Demon's Souls is a clunky game. Don't get me wrong, the game has aged well over these last 8 years, but with modern advancements in the franchise, it's difficult at times to deal with the robotic animations and questionable hit detection of the series' roots. I won't say that this is that big of an issue. In fact, this is probably the thing on this list that bothers me the least, but it is noticeable enough that I feel it needed to be mentioned, especially to anyone who's considering playing the game for the first time. It's so worth it, and I hope that you do, but do be aware that the mechanics will feel a little sloppy if you compare it to today's standards. Who cares though? Honestly, shields, dex, strength, maybe not for casuals, but it is for fucking idiots. There's only one way to go in Demon's Souls, and that's the way of the wizard. Seriously, the game's melee quirks are irrelevant if you go royal and spam your soul arrows. They get more and more intelligence and watch as your ego swells to the size of your growing brain. It's impossible for it not to, considering how you're gonna dominate 99% of the enemies in the game without even getting touched. Just watch any speedrun of Demon's Souls. It's not as if they use some super special mojo juice that you're missing. No, they just use a few small buffs and the insane damage potential of magic. Seriously though, magic in Demon's Souls is no joke, but it's not exclusive to mages. Any build can take advantage of it thanks to the different stones that let you add magical damage to your weapon. So go melee or mage, it really makes no difference. The problem lies in that once you know that magic makes this game a joke, it's something that you can unlearn. Of course it's up to you if you want to use it, but it's kinda hard not to. It's so easily available to you early on with the Crescent Falchion in 4-1, the Blessed Mace in 5-1, or even easier, just start as a royal class and you'll be set to massacre the first few areas. As with any of the Souls games, any build works here. You only have to level as much as you want to, and how you play the game is up to you. But I hate that you essentially handicap yourself in the game if you choose to ignore the potential of magic. Ah well, honestly, some of these hated choices had to be cherry-picked. I really love Demon's Souls, so it's not easy for me to rag on the game. Many of the things on this list were ironed out later in the series, and those that weren't aren't detrimental enough to dash everything that I love about this game. Sure, the games that fix the problems are great in their own right, but I'll always love going back to Boletaria for another run around the Archstone. I hope you enjoyed hearing the things that I hate most about Demon's Souls, and next time we're going to be tackling the things I find most awful in Dark Souls. In the meantime, be sure to follow me on Twitter for all the latest updates, and come join me on Twitch where I play the Souls games and more live. I want to thank you all for watching, much love to you, and I will see you in the next video.